G'day punters, welcome to another edition of the Mailbag Preview Show. Brought to you by puntingform.com.au as always. And as always, please like, subscribe, get around us. Plenty of winners on the show. Shane's famous ice cream fell short last week. We're $1.45 pop up in Brisbane, which I think we will touch on. But we've got a familiar face who hasn't been on the show for a while. Welcome back, Jack.
G'day, boys. How are we?
Going well.
The shows seem to be sort of building a little bit of momentum on their own these days. Hosting pretty well, James. The bits I watch, and interested to see what this Scoopy shit's about. But looking forward to it.
And Shane, how are you, mate? How's the week been?
It's been all right. Nothing too exciting. 4 bets for 4 seconds or something Wednesdays sort of pissed me off a bit, but ready to bounce back.
If they won, would you have booked a flight down?
No, I don't know. I'll just come down for when we're in group races, not these just regular benchmark Saturdays. Waste my time. Yeah, there's
obviously talking about our 2 runners on Saturday that we have. So a perfect segue to get into our Bloodstock segments, brought to you by the Mailbag Bloodstock. We've got a couple of horses to sell to you and talk about. But firstly, I'd like to just thank all the new owners that jumped on board the Autumn Sun Trevesia filly. After last week's show, I think we had 10% left and that's sold out. So another one sold out to the Bloodstock team. So thanks for everybody putting their hands in their pocket. Welcome to the new owners. And as you would have seen, all the owners so far are having a bit of fun along the way. And we do have a couple racing at Caulfield on Saturday. But first, I want to talk about Jack's new purchase on English Digital yesterday, a tried horse by the name of Keats.
Yeah, I was chatting to Gavin Bedgood through the week about Field of Roses, whether we back up or not on Saturday. And then we sort of talked about the online sale. And I'd gone through it and thought it was pretty grim, to be honest. The only horse I'd found was Keats, and so had he. So we lined up. So we said, why not? Let's have a go. We would have gone a bit higher, probably a fair bit higher than what we went to. We picked him up this morning. He looked, I don't know if you saw it, Shane, but privately, Shane and I were a bit concerned about the photo yesterday online. But that's just how much money those blokes have. They don't care, because we picked him up this morning and he looks outstanding. We thought he'd have to spell. He's not going to spell. Gavin will sit on him tomorrow morning, and hopefully we push on this prep with a preparation now. His benchmark figures, which is something we're focusing on heavily when purchasing these tried horses, are like Saturday grade comfortably, but he's got a benchmark rating that we can put him into midweek races if we wanted to. I think we're going to have a lot of fun with him. I think he's like in a market that's really hard to get into. I think we've done really well. Shane, what do you reckon? What do you think? What do you like about it, not like about it?
No, I thought the placement of this horse has been horrific.
And some of the rides.
Yeah, and you're always a chance to improve. And when I talk about improving, right? So it's been like, if you go have a look at its preparation, Lyrical Lad, I think it's won again. Last prep, our Playboy, who won at listed grade in Queensland, maybe even group 2 or 3 level, maybe it was. I can't remember exactly. I'm getting beaten somewhere between 2 lengths and 4 lengths behind these sorts of horses. And the horse goes to Jesus Bedgood, who could literally turn water into wine. He's completely airborne. So you're just going to get you're going to come out of a factory type stable with multi-millionaire owners that, just happy to cast these horses off. And that's where we can, find the ones that fall through the gap. He's a listed winner, I think, in
listed winner in Ireland over the mile. That Lyrical Lad form's good. Lyrical Lad won last weekend. The Aguilar's a good horse. Visionary is a nice horse. But the form around him's good. Just need to find him softer races. I don't think he wants 2,500 metres, which is what he was at last time. All right, so if you're interested in finding out more about Keats and racing him with us and Gavin Bedgood, email jono@themailbag.com.au, jono@themailbag.com.au, and we'll be looking to race him very, very shortly. So if you're interested, get in touch. I've also got a really nice filly with a little bit left. She's the best yearling we have available. She's a really well bred filly with Kieran Moore and Dave Oosters, Exceeding Excel out of Skadoodle. Kieran trained the half. They should have won the Blue Diamond Prelude probably, but there was a little bit of unlucky ride there by Michelle Payne back in the day. But we hope to follow in that horse's footsteps, but just go a little bit better. Boys, Caulfield, James, let's go. Let's do it. It's an interesting, fascinating rail position, and it can throw off a bit of chaos.
Yeah, so we've got the rail out 9 metres for the entire. Currently a good forward. It's been raining a bit here this afternoon. I think we've got a bit of rain tomorrow and Saturday, so could get into that soft range depending on how much hits Caulfield. But, yeah, rail out 9 metres. And I think we'll have a look at the barrier and lane data now, brought to you by punningform.com.au up on our screens now.
So what this is sort of saying is for the rail position of 8 to 11, which covers a bit of distance there, back and buried, real back and buried isn't a bad thing, Shane.
Yeah, I'm just sort of having a look at the A2E, so that, the average 2 expected there. Horses, they're anticipated to be leading, look to go a bit better than market, and then you got lane 2 at about the same, and then the further out you get, the less winning chance they seem to be. So yeah,
which, let's be honest, is a little bit grim for Mailbag Bloodstock owners.
But it is Caulfield, and it has been known to make a complete jackass out of many punters who go in there with a suspected track pattern.
Yeah, it's the laniest metro track in Victoria. It's a really tricky place to bet.
They should probably build another track the same inside the one they've got now.
Yeah, so it's even harder to make ground on when it's definitely. It's a good idea, Shane. So what this is saying is a starting point, you want to be finding horses that settle rails and run. But as Shane's alluding to, and I'd recommend heavily, you need to sort of post-race map the first couple. You'll learn nothing from the first race because it's a staying race, but you need to get your eye in with the next sort of 2 to 3 and decide on your own sort of pattern that you think's happening there at Caulfield, because it is raining, but it's not raining. And then the sun's coming out, James, and it's a bit windy. So, whatever God you believe in, they won't know what sort of track you're going to get on Saturday. So just wait and see and adjust as it comes. It's going to be an absolutely beautiful day to be there on course and in the yard. 3-year-old fillies race, which we're not going to talk about now, is purely, in my opinion, like a bias versus your map, overlay the yard. And if you can tick all those boxes, scurry style, you just pull the trigger and you're going to get, you might get, I think it's like $5-6 a field as it is. It's an outstanding betting card towards the back end, and I can't wait to get there.
And Jackson will be out there, as we say every week, get that last piece of information, which is vital, on the mailbag.com.au website via the app. Jackson will be out there looking at him, but Jack will also be out there on Saturday.
I wouldn't be looking for advice from Jack on Saturday. He'd be looking at the bottom of a schooner more often than he'd be looking at a horse, I'd say.
The plan is to over-race big time. I'm catching the train in, moral.
If
you're looking for Jack, if you're on course and you're looking for Jackson, just hang around the mounting yard and look for anyone else that's carrying a microphone or anything like that. That guy will be in that vicinity. Go and say g'day to him, tap you on the shoulder, ask him what he likes.
He's dressing a little bit better, I saw lately, which is
it's
interesting. Yeah,
it's very interesting. He does dress up to go to the races.
He's very young though, Shane. He's growing into a man before
I saw a photo of Jackson at the races the other day. Didn't recognise him.
Neither did I.
Tracksuit on.
Didn't have a tracksuit on. They look like jeans and like a pair of Converse. Where'd you get them from? But anyway, I thought he looked good.
He does look good. He's looked as good as he's ever looked. He's got the fade going as well.
Oh yeah, a lot of work's going on that haircut. I'm thinking that's a 2-week job, like every 2 weeks.
Yeah, it'd have to be. It's a bit of styling, a bit of grooming. It's obviously positively affecting his results. He's won at about 180% pot in July.
190%, I think it was.
Sorry. Yeah. Anyway.
Absolutely airborne. And it's great to see, because we're all betting it, and you should be too if you're not. Like, if you want to win money through the week, particularly, James, you need to be getting Jacko stuff.
Absolutely. So that was our barrier and lane starter, brought to you by punningform.com.au. We'll move into some jockey data for the meeting. Talk to us, boys. What's it telling us?
What this tells you sometimes will be whatever you want it to tell you. So I remember I might have been in the background once upon a time, James, when you made your debut, and Linda Meach had disgraceful stats at Flemington, and we sort of gently told ourselves, well, she's a good rider, so that means that she's going to come good.
I still haven't tipped anything on the show since then. That was my one and only.
This is when I like to let the victim mentality I like to let it loose. We've all got it. You would try and bury it as hard as we can, don't we, Shane? As in the game we're in, but you can let it out a little bit here. So, like Mickey D is riding, I could do better for us in race 9. His Caulfield stats are disgraceful overall, which is not ideal. The track data is not ideal. But Mickey D is in career best form at the moment. If you look at it in the last 100, Shane, so you just got to find the positive. Come on,
build our own narrative.
Yeah, it's all racing's all about narrative. It's all about bubble bars and Dutch rudders. And Mickey D is riding in really good form at the moment. He's at 12.5% profit on turnover, 15% strike rate. He's got a career strike rate of 10.5%. So he's flying. And hopefully he can convert that now to the Caulfield season, which is now upon us. He hasn't been there for a while.
Yeah, he'd want to. He's ridden 36 winners from about 600 rides.
But then he can go the other way, and you don't want to talk about airborne. 41% profit on turnover. Willow, who rides Field of Roses. I'm thinking about trying to give him some instructions, but I don't reckon he's going to listen or should listen.
No, the only advice that I could give you, Jack, for Willow is to make sure that you've got a phone that can record his post-race. Make sure you've got at least 20 minutes available for footage time there. If he wins on it.
I'm just disappointed he's not racing the 9 for us, We're all full. Willow! Okay, Anyway, Mickey D could be in big trouble if we win race 9, which I reckon we're a chance to do, and we'll get to that later on. But Willow's riding at 41% profit on turnover. His strike rate in the last 100 rides is 23%. He's airborne, as long as good as it gets. Doesn't love Caulfield, but he's thereabouts at Caulfield. But as we said before, we haven't raced a lot of Caulfield the last little bit, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. I'm looking for riders who are in form recently, more so than that track.
And that's our jockey data. We'll move into our trainer data. But I think as we touched on a few weeks ago, Shane, maybe with Jackson on the show, that it's coming into its own now, the spring. Those bigger trainers, they have the lean winters. They don't put up all their good horses have been put out. So sometimes this data this early on in the spring can be a bit distorted, let's say. But what's the trainer data telling us?
What's telling us what we want to see when you just bought Keats and sent it to Gavin Bedgegood, and you've got one going to the races trained by Gavin Bedgegood. I mean, the man's a freak. He's profitable for his life, which is very rare. He goes at 12.5% for his life, and he's profitable. He's profitable his last 100 at 17% strike rate. Oh, and how's he go at Caulfield, did you ask, James? 104% profit on turnover at 20% strike rate. The man is a freak, and we have a horse with him, and we have a horse available with him.
Now, not to be outdone, we also had a horse with Matty Raymond. Now, I steered the boys into this horse, James. No one wanted a bar of this horse until it wins a jump out.
That's not true.
And then we've got about 12 owners, 4 managers now, everyone ringing Matty, trying to map out a program. Should we start thinking about an All-Star Mile campaign? Matty is career profitable.
Massively
profitable career. Profitable last 100 and profitable at Caulfield.
Yeah, and consistent strike rates too. She has home rule up against us in race 4, who looks to lead 1A. Will be hard to beat. Drifts late too. Saw home rule drift late at Moonee Valley and just piss in there too. So the market doesn't seem to know with Matty.
We're looking at Caulfield stats here with Bedgegood and Matty Raymond. I'm thinking Toorak handicap, Caulfield Cup.
Yeah. But we're already having a fill up on the multi on Saturday as well. So we're going to have our pockets full and reaching for the stars.
So we're basically just blind betting, auto betting, just based off the stats. How good is it?
Yeah.
Oh, can't wait to get out there. There's a bit of historical data from puntingform.com.au. But let's get into 2 main races that we do want to have a look at. And they are, first up, we'll have a look at race 7, 1,200 metre, the Regal Roller Stakes. We'll have a look at the map first.
I think we should just be honest with the audience. We don't actually, to be honest, I don't want to go into this race in too much detail, but it's one of the two big races on the card, so we're going to try our best to find you a winner. But it is grim. Race 7, Sartorial Splendor will lead with Open-Minded. Felicia probably gets a gun run. Don't know where this Uncommon James gets to from 7. Lombardo, Rangers wide. I don't know what they can do from there. Showmanship, who had that one run for Ollie and O'Brien at Warrnambool, was in the market but didn't really do much, but that was Warrnambool. Although this is the closest metro track to Warrnambool, in my opinion, just as far as like clods and stuff. High Stranger, Sinawan, who's been backed a little bit, and Viral, the tail with William Thomas. Shane.
This race, in fact, had me like more cooked mentally than a MAGA Republican. This Uncommon James. Now Jackson's on this.
Right? And I think we do need full disclaimer here, punters, that Jackson has sent out a pretty large bet for him on Uncommon James yesterday at $2.70, straight into $2.45, I think it was. But he comes down from your country, Shane.
Well, this is what's graded me up. So, like, nice horse going through the grades in Brisbane. You'll see its win here. The chestnut horse on the inside with the white face, I think he's put on the red light. That's why we drink behind it in the black colours. There's Uncommon James getting to the outside. Miss Hipstar inside it. Can't remember the one inside that. So ambles up here and puts them away.
Plays in a bit.
Why we drink the horse in the black colours who he dropped and then sprinted away from, and then why we drink kept coming through the line to run the fastest last 200 of that meeting. So I've truckloaded Why We Drink the start after, who got beat in Wednesday grade, and then backed him again last week. And he sat in a perfect trailing position with hot speed. He was back midfield 3 wide with cover ready to launch and got beaten a long way. So completely grade me up. I mean, you can only go on what that horse did, and it did put him away nicely. Its last 600 benchmark figures was very strong. But I still, like, the jury was just out because I wasn't sure about the second horse in that race, and put on the red light, getting through there, and it has ran since, and it ran 5th. Like, it did nothing, it was a weak Saturday grade anyway, right? So it got beat 3.5 lengths. Then the start before that, Uncommon James beat Safe Work, who was another horse, was like, okay, well, off that run, Safe Work just goes to the races and wins in, next start. It ran second to goals for every start. Then it went again and started favourite in a Class 6 and got beat, sat outside the lead, had every chance, looked like winning, and still got beat a length in a horrible, horrible race, which rated horribly. On speed in a slow tempo and never finished off. So the query for me was about what's this horse beaten, comparing it to horses like Rangers, who have gone through to win at listed grade. I think what's that Grafton sprint race is a listed grade.
The Ramornie or something?
The Ramornie. Lombardo's a Group 1 winner that I potted because of the jump.
At $21 though.
Good race, that Ramornie race. Felicia fitter here. I don't know. Where's Uncommon James getting the run? It's just really grey. I don't know what to do with it. I could see it starting $5. I could see it starting $2.60. I don't know. I just don't know what to do with it.
I think it can't win. I think that there's no form around it at all. The figure's a spike figure. Everything else it's done is poor. There's no form off either of the runs, as you said. I'm cautious of this stable because they've had maybe 2 run in Melbourne so far. One of them went really good, Scolopini, but with Ollie. And the other thing was sort of not suited last week down the straight. I think it's that time of year in Melbourne, though, where like C graders can win okay races. Like King of Sparta had no profile to win that Bletchingley and did, but then it came out and I think regressed back to what it was and is down the straight at Flemington. So maybe this horse can run a figure. 34 days, I hate.
Has jumped out. Was the only thing.
I just don't like it. I don't like the bet at all. But having I couldn't have the bet, but I wouldn't want to overly gap the thing either because I don't know what's going to beat it. Sartorial Splendor gets a positive jockey switch, D Lane to J Carr. I think J Carr's suited on an on-speed horse more so than D Lane. But like this thing's been up for a little bit now. It's progressively getting better riders, but I don't know. Viral, no. Felicia's the horse that Willow sticks to that I don't think's been suited yet and might be here. The market sort of knows every time with this horse, so I'll be watching closely late. If they come for this horse, I'd say it's going to go really, really close. It loves Caulfield. It's fast when it's good, when it's on. It's certainly the local horse that I think is right in it. And then there's just a huge watch the market showmanship. You learn nothing from the trials. I couldn't steer you one way or the other, but someone will, and it'll happen pretty late, I'd say. I think that the Uncommon James surely starts longer than 240, whatever it is now. Like if it starts $1.90, come and find me on course because I'll be out the back having my first dart in 2 months before they've even run the race because I'll just be so confused. Like it just makes no sense to me how it's so short.
And the other thing too, I notice again with this D. O'Brien stable for these grossly overrated colours, the pink and the white.
But they're scary colours. They're overrated, but they're scary colours.
We overrate them because we're scared of them now. We're scared of them in Victoria. And the winkers are off this horse again. They had all the headgear off the stablemate last time and Ollie gave it a stinker.
And from a punting point of view, Shane, just when it wants to grow up a little bit more, you can go here. Strawn Barrier 1. It's first up, O'Brien, Peters. They'll just open it, get us through its gears and just be a little look for the horse. Then you look at the data and back and buried's positive. Just grazing up even more.
Yeah, it's hard to know.
High Stranger can run a race. Open-minded, I thought trial, okay, they're not good enough. It'd be suited if it's mad on pace, which Caulfield we said can be. And the mystery horse is definitely Ciurleo, who, ran into some pretty good horses last preparation. Is this short of what it wants, though? I don't know. I'd think it would be, but itchy fingers, Benny Gladder Mellon sits upon it. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see it sort of 3-4 wide midfield, not last. So,
and what about the last start Goodwood winner, the Group 1 there over in South Australia, Lombardo?
Well, very hard to profile. Hopefully, the owners are getting updates and they're not sitting on Twitter bagging race callers. People doing their jobs. God, how dare they have an opinion that doesn't suit your narrative? Honest to God.
Yeah, geez, it was a low Group 1 too.
It's a Group 1. It's got it ran 60 in the boat. We bought a horse that ran second in the boat. We're sending him to Queensland.
More fool us.
Should be here, you reckon?
No, it's like I don't know. I'd live and die by this data. The data says that this fucking Lombardo is no good, and it's a Group 1 winner.
Yeah, it paid $20 when it won a Group 1. It's got some nice form at Caulfield. It's probably the track and trip horse. I just think Barrier 11 doesn't suit, but when it won its Group 1, it rolled forward and led.
Lil Spano sticks too. That's a big indicator.
That is good. That is full credit to the stable. Good on them.
Yeah.
Anyway, so basically completely grey for those.
No idea. I'm not taking sub $3 Uncommon James, and it could come out of missing, but I'm not betting.
Yeah, so I think what you both sort of have landed on is no bet on the favourite, far too short, but you can't find anything to beat it, so probably no bet in the race.
Yeah, I'm probably sort of cheering for it to go all right for Jackson, and Shane's probably prepping to hang some shit at him when it loses.
No, thanks for joining us. Anyway, no bets, no tips, nothing. No, I'm cheering the stable. The stable's been a great stable to follow in Queensland, and I think they've taken the right horses down. This horse is going to be well suited, getting into a race like this, rather than wasting its time in Queensland this time of year. So good luck to them. I reckon they've got a good team and they've trialled well. They've got another runner on the card that I thought jumped out really well.
Which is that?
She's got the boom. It won't have any data whatsoever because its wins have been in, it won one at Toowoomba. I don't know. Did it? Might have. That was a Metro day, so that the data won't carry. Then it won a Metro, like a big prize money race at the Gold Coast, which was a cutest day, so that data won't carry across as well. Yeah, it had two trials. This one at Doomba, and then it won at Toowoomba. Now it won at the Gold Coast. So it just completely graved me up. I think it still tries to settle on speed. Yeah, so I think it goes good. I think it's jumped out well on Tuesday. I think it was
race 6 is the best race on the card. I think, Shane. the most exciting. I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to go down the yard and I'm going to try and find the winner because there's just so much tempo here. They're going to fly. Bistro, waltz on by, bound for home. She's got the boom. Winners take all. Miss Rosiano, Galagados, Zaris rides from 13. Like, he could want to go forward too if it's on pace. It's
Shout out to Boris the Blade Thornton. He's known as the Blade up here. So if you see him in the mountain yard as he's going by, just give him a shout.
I saw that. Boris
the Blade. Anyway, good show so far. We've found nothing for the boys.
It's just great. Everyone up there in one of the main races.
Completely great up. Race 6. Race 2's got me great up. Race 9, Mickey D's on ours got me great up. Anyway,
I am great up.
Catch you later.
We'll move on. I think we'll find you a bet in race 8, the PB Lawrence Stakes, over 1,400, the main race of the day. Usually in years gone past, the PB Lawrence Stakes is the kickoff for the spring. Some of the better horses coming back. We'll show the speed map now for the PB Lawrence.
I don't know what they do with Asar.
Well, he went forward last start, but
I worry they'll try and go back to make him faster, and it's not going to work. But I just don't think he's very fast. But he's still got his nuts. Ben and JD Hayes, he's still got his nuts.
Well, of course it goes forward.
A stud farm board at only. They're just trying to get some page on it,
It goes forward. It goes forward. It goes forward.
It has to go forward. I think Buffalo River and Sharice Avalon there or thereabouts. Mr. Brightside and Iron Superman get the gun runs. Scalapini, I think, takes a sit shame with Elephant. I think it'll just be having a look around from barrier 9. Regal Power, back near where Uncle Bryn should be. 2 very big trials and a little bit of early money. I was actually just up at the shops getting the boost with Das, and I saw the female of the Bussard and Youngs, Natalie Young. I tried to ask her, but she didn't know who it was or understand what I was saying. But I reckon they've had a big bet here. Something tells me they've had a big bet. Okay. Now, what'll happen here is I'll get itchy fingers. Gladrap will get the itchy fingers, and I think he'll take off. I think he could try and go forward here on Uncle Bryn. That's sort of my bet in the race, but it's a personal one with myself that I reckon he's going to get itchy and they're going to go because there's no speed in this race, is there? You look at the riders on the horses that do need to go forward. They're not push button. They're not going to go quick. There's no tempo here. They're going forward. It'll be chaos. And I just think the humanitarian, our man, our rider this weekend, Craig Williams, could ride the whole card because he's just going to smoke the pipe on Mr. Brightside, who's had 2. Nice. He looks like he's going really well off the trials. I think he's the one to beat. I don't think the map's awful for Elephant, who's, a weight for age horse here. But I think Mr. Brightside's the one off the map, regardless of how the track races, that Willow can put it wherever he wants to be. And if you have to bet, I'd be backing Mr. Brightside. But cheering for Uncle Bryn to roll forward. I reckon it will. And it shouldn't. And it won't be a change of tactics. It might roll forward.
What about Scalapini, Shane? You had a bit to say about Scalapini before his first up run. He wasn't unlucky, but just beaten by King of Sparta on the day at a decent price. What about his second up profile here?
Well, that's the problem with this form race, is that it's a dog shit race, is what we decided, and they all raced against each other the other day, and the second horse should have won. And I think we were on the second horse that Ollie rode, and I was on Ollie this day too, and he lost his whip when King of Sparta
rolled in on him,
leveled up and rolled in on him a touch. And it doesn't saying it's going to necessarily reverse the result. Goes good second up, this horse. There's no doubt about that. He's just pretty consistent animal anyway, really. But I don't know. Mr. Brightside looks like he's in for a good preparation. How ready he is, I don't know. The stablemate should sort of roll forward and make sure that he lobs in a nice spot with a nice bit of cover on a nice bit of tempo. And, he brings, proper form. I'm thunderstruck and he
brings the closest thing to proper form, which I don't know why this is, but if you Sierra Sue, Group 1 horse, Savatiano, solid horse, Mystic Journey, freak, Showtime, stallion, Hartnell's all littered through this. There's proper horses littered through the history of this, the recent history of this race, and this is a disgraceful edition of it. Now, is it the lack of prize money and the the way they're just hacking at each other, New South Wales and Victoria, I don't know, but it's kind of like, sure, to my brain, like Scalapini can't win this, but then why not? Because this isn't a traditional edition of this.
Yeah,
contest.
I mean, he's going good, but I just couldn't see him beating. I thought Mr. Brightside would probably handle him, but again, like you see it, like how screwed down are they? He doesn't really need to do anything. He's already a Group 1 winner, winning the Doncaster, Mr. Brightside. He doesn't have to win a Group 2 to make a field, going forward. So you don't have to gut him out first up to try and get his rating up or anything. And like Scalapini is ready to rip. There's no doubt about that. It's just a matter of whether he can. Obviously he had that Group 1 winner form.
I think that is the thing, isn't it? Like last prep, Mr. Brightside kicking off over 1,400 metres like on Saturday, but he needed to build his rating to get into those Group 1s, like you said, Shane. So now he doesn't need to do that. They would have a spring plan mapped out, and every race that they want to put him in, he'll be able to get in. So is this a grand final, and at the price, are we...
Yeah, but doesn't need to be. Look.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought, I thought I Am Superman might have been a horse. And then I think the day Sinner one run over it when I had it going for a stack. Probably maybe biased against it. But, this old horses, 7 and 8 year old geldings, that are just probably at their limit.
I think Buffalo River and I Am Superman are the two outside of Mr. Brightside you could entertain backing. But
I mean, Scalapini's got Buffalo River's measure. Buffalo River was like a bit hard going when he went to Queensland the first couple of runs, and then he just sort of tapered off. Terribly.
Back to Caulfield though, freshened, makes own luck, nice map. The map's very, very important at Caulfield. I think Scalapini's going to be second last in run.
Yeah, he won't be getting the sweet seat that he had last start, I don't think.
Loses Ollie.
Yeah. Gets D-Lane.
What about our friends David Brown and the horse we helped get into the All-Star Mole, and then he was injured, Elephants? How do we see him going?
I think the map versus the same theory as Mr. Brightside, like he's in anything he wants. No.
Yeah, there's something else for him this prep. He's first up off a knee chip removal as well. Like, couldn't imagine he's going to be screwed down. Jeez, it doesn't leave many chances. Where's Uncle Bryn going to get?
He's going to roll forward, I'm telling you. And I'm going to be knocking everyone in the ribs when Mellon takes off and kicks it in the ribs. I'll be pissed. I'll be really pissed by now. Okay, let's find people to bet, though, because we've done the 2 races and not really had a bet. So here you go. Ready. Pens out. Race 6, number 12, Waltz on by. It'll sit in and around the psychopathic tempo of this race, but J. Carr rides and she'll be sweet. I think $7 is really fair price. And a value play for the day is race 5, number 2, Cannonball. Very profitable stable, almost always, but particularly at Caulfield, and a very, very good rider in Mark Zara. Big price, $15. I think it should be single figures for sure, and it's going to sit right on a good speed, which is where you want to be at Caulfield 8 times out of 10. So race 5, number 2, Cannonball, and race 6, number 12, Waltz on by are my 2 bets for you today. Shane, anything to add? We're scooping up some stuff. We're doing some
I think we'll let Shane have his. We'll let him have his say. It was the first week that the famous ice cream scoop has missed, and it was a multi with a couple of shorties at Durban into Berkeley Square who got the job done at Flemington race 1. But I think it was Manhood, Shane, $1.70 into $1.45, and couldn't get the 3-leg multi home, could it?
No, it stumbled at the 300 metres and lost all its rhythm. Ran the 6th fastest forward of the 2 because of that stumble. And then I think it was the fastest last 100 of the race, and like it was going to get beat a length at the furlong, and got beat an eyelash by an eyelash. Anyway, that's what happens. Who cares?
We move on. What are you scooping up for the punters this week?
Well, I like to keep things very simple and back the fastest horse in the race, and that's Eagle Farm race 2, number 5, Ice in Vancouver. was a dominant winner in the Kirby at Grafton, over 1,000. Sat 3 deep the trip, did Rachel. Just was on the best horse. 51.5 kilos here in a benchmark 90 in Brisbane is extremely well placed. It won't know itself. It'll be just way too fast for them. It's $1.90, but like I don't mind that because like it should be a lot shorter, and it's only got 4 rivals that can gallop and one that's just there for the day out for the owners by the looks. So it should just be handling. So that's race 2, Eagle Farm race 2, number 5, Icy to Vancouver. So that's like the lock, if you like, the lock. You go to Caulfield, I suppose, and we could take a couple of Jack's plays there. That one in race, did you say race 5?
Race 5, number 2, Cannonball. You want to do a bit of like win and place sort of stuff?
Yeah, I want to go.
Ross, get your pen out. Ross, get your pen out.
Win and place Cannonball. We're going to see like a bit of a tactical race here with Mullane, Thrombone probably buried, Alpha One last start winner that we're on, Giga Kick last start winner that we're on.
There's a few last start winners with back to the service, isn't there?
Yeah, so there's
Alpha One won't start favourite. Will not start favourite. I don't think it. Like I can't believe how short it is. I'd be loaning it if I could.
So I think with the gate and compared to his rivals here with Alpha One, Giga Kick, and Mullane sort of drawn outside it, I think Zara can just can let them 3 play jockeys, and he can just stalk and put them away at the price, $14. So we'll just go win and play. So I think we'll keep it pretty simple and just go those 2. I was going to be really flary.
Oh, we would love
which wouldn't be anything like yeah. Just keep to your rhythm.
We're going to be really flary here. One that caught my eye at the jump outs, race 9, number 12. I could do better.
Oh, shout out to the scumbag, whoever you are, who knocked it off at the tab like before everyone goes up. I don't get it. I do not get it.
Because you
make me sick.
See, it goes up at the tab. They wait about 10 minutes, and then Bet365 go. They wait for that reaction, and then Bet365 go up, and they all just follow, and then they're all $12.
I had a couple of the owners ringing me, James, accusing someone that's on this show of potentially being the person that might have knocked it off.
Yeah,
we're in a hat.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you now.
You're coming.
I'll tell you now. There's no way I'd be backing the first price because I could only get on to win 2,000. Like, have a fucking think about it. Why would I want to be backing it to win 2,000? This will start longer than 26.
Good to be back.
This will start a much bigger price. It's 360 odd days.
Shane, I think they're a bit scared of our silks, man. Already, this should start $25 ish. I think, especially if the track race is how we anticipate. But geez, if it wins, Can you
imagine the mounting yard? We're all going to be there on Saturday. 15 scooters deep, and I could do better salutes.
It's actually it's a sensational setup for us as owners because we're going to go and just rip and tear from race 4 onwards. So, like, win, lose, or draw, we're going to be full as a goog and be able to just either drown our sorrows or celebrate our success. Either way, it's just fantastic. I can't wait. And if you want to get involved, Keats is now your next option. We'll be racing at least at sort of a Sandown level, but I anticipate Saturday.
I think there's a very obvious bet in race 9, and that's number 9, Pesquero. It looks like a nice horse that's going to go through the grades. I thought it's run very, very well against 3 horses that go pretty well in Pinstripe for Totsu and Passive Aggressive. If it brings those runs and those through that form line into this race from a good gate with D Lane, it's just a box ticker everywhere for me. I think it.
And if we run over the top of it and knock it off.
We are probably going to win.
Yeah. So
Cox
play.
If we knock off Pesquero, you can pencil in the Turak. We'll get
that's what I'm thinking.
50 and a half, and we'll pluck some obscure lightweight jockey, and it'll be a rags to riches fairy tale.
Willow.
I'll make a movie about it.
It'll be Willow.
We'll get Michelle.
Michelle?
Ride like a geller
on it.
Anyway, race nine, number 9 Pesquero. I think
it is a very interesting runner, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the right horse. The market, don't worry about the market because it's the stable. Like, you don't worry. If they drift it, you just keep betting. Don't worry about it. It's a nice horse. It brings its best here. It's going to be extremely hard to beat.
Well, there we go. We started off a bit slow with a few bets, but we've come home with a bit of flair. Bets left, right, and centre. As always, guys, today's been brought to you by punningform.com.au. And if anybody is out at the track on Saturday, Jack, myself, a couple other, the Mailbag team will be out there entertaining owners. So coming down there, having a good time. Hopefully one or two of our runners can get a win. So if you are there, come say g'day. Any last words, Jack?
If you like the sound of that, then email jono@themailbag.com.au and get involved in their next one. Keats, we'll be at the races shortly with that. And seriously, with the punting form, like literally all I do at the moment is buy horses. And it's all because I subscribed to and taught myself and grinded and learnt puntingform.com.au. Invest in yourself.
And Shane, where are you betting this weekend?
Where are you betting this weekend?
Toowoomba, Gold Coast, and Eagle Farm for the service. So get on board there.
Are you definitely not coming down?
Definitely not coming down. I've got a couple of really good things that day that I want to be on the track for. So I can't come. A couple of little trialers and stuff. Anyone that is going to Caulfield that would like Ross Brody to bring them a Young Street sandwich at SOT_47 on Twitter. Tweet him with your order and he will bring a Young Street sandwich to Caulfield for you if you are attending.
Yeah, shout out to Young Street if you want to get involved. Jack@themailbag.com.au. We'd love to have you on the show anytime.
As always, team, get around mailbag.com.au, get that last piece of information, the vital piece of information to your app. Pete will be betting in Perth, Shane in every venue in Queensland, Jackson down here in Melbourne, and Rob in the Rosewood card up there at Sydney.
It genuinely is a very, very important day in Sydney and in Melbourne to get the yard mail, not even just for it to win or lose, but just to get that information if you take yourself half seriously, to add that to your own database, whatever you're using. Because the good horses are coming back and you've got two guys who just care about eyes on ponies, and it's a very valuable thing. So get involved.
Good luck, punters. We'll see you next week.